Okay, so this video is the home assignment which was given, the dissection of the flower and explaining the parts of it, which Shukla, second science student, has done it so well. Very nice.
Hello everyone, I am Shukla. Today we are going to do an experiment with a flower. I have taken a flower. This is hibiscus and the scientific name of this flower is Hibiscus rosa sinensis. You all have seen this is very familiar flower. If you do not have this flower, you can do the experiment with any other flower that is available in your pot or in your garden. Let's start. This is the stalk of the flower. The stalk of the flower helps the flower to be erect position so that it get ample exposure. The insects can come and sit on for the pollination. So this is the stalk of the flower or a pedicel of the flower. Okay. If you notice, this is slightly thin and this is slightly thick. This thick part is called as thalamus and this green part is called the calyx. I will just open it to show you how it look like. Each one is called the sepals and together this sepals is called the calyx. Now, what is the function of the calyx? The function of the calyx is it protects the flower in the budding stage. See, this is the bud and bud is covered by the sepals. They will grow into a flower. Okay. We will keep on this. The next part is colorful and attractive part of the flower. They are called petals. Okay. Each one is called the petals. Let us count how many petals are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 petals are there. 5 petals together called the corolla. So I will just open it to show you. If you have a sharp knife, you can do it with that. There are 5 petals are there. Petals are together called as corolla, which helps to attract the insects for the pollination. They come in variety of color. You must have seen that. It makes a nature so beautiful. These two are non-productive parts, but this is the reproductive part of the flower. That means it helps the flower's reproduction. Okay, this is the male part of the flower. If you see, now the male part of the flower is called the androecium. Now what is androecium? As the androecium has stamen. If you notice, these are my stamens. Okay. The loop-like structures is called the anther and this is the smiley tiny things is the stamens. Here all stamens are together. This is called the staminal column. We will just cut it out. Let us see what comes out from this. Okay. We are very carefully and gently while doing the dissectional part of the flower and this is female part of the flower. We already know that it contains the pollen and the pollen has the male gamete. Let's see this. This together is called the androecium. Androecium is anther and the stamen. This stamen together called the staminal column. Otherwise, stamen can free also. This is the androecium, and this anther at the top of this anther contains the pollen. So, if you take like this, something powdery comes out, and this is the pollen. Which contain a male sex gametes. This is the female part of the flower. The female part of the flower contains the ovary. This is ovary, and this is the long style, and this is stigma. Okay, all together it is called the gynoecium. Now here both male and female part is present in the same flower, so we can call it as bisexual flower. It also has all the four words parts. It has complete flower. These are all the parts of the hibiscus flower and explanation of the hibiscus.
Structure of the anther. Anther is a male reproductive part. Anther is a male reproductive part of the flower. Now, yesterday we had explained we were discussed about that anther has two lobes. It has got how many lobes? See here, students. It has got two lobes. Yes or no? It has got two lobes. Yesterday when we were discussing here also, it has got two lobes and one filament together makes stamen. And if we take the transverse section, you see the four sacs over there. Yes or no? It is bilobed and it has got how many? Four sacs. Two in one lobe, two in other lobe. Yes. So this is about the anther, and it is very important, students. It is very important. Structure of the anther can be asked. Structure of the anther can be asked for you. It is important. Okay, it is important. So just now, as in the video also she had explained, she has taken the same flower, that is the hibiscus. These are the pollen grains, or which we call it as anther, which is present here, and this is the stigma. This is the stigma. So anther has got two lobes. You can see it here as well. This is of the datura. If you check the datura flower, you can make it even more clearer, because the datura flower has got that long anthers. Yes or no? The datura flower has got the long anther and the filament, where you see the two lobes very clearly. Where you see the two lobes very clearly. Anther has two lobes, that is, it is bilobed. Each lobe consists of two theca. Two theca means, I told you yesterday, it is covering. It is covering. Hence it is dithecous. Di means two. Yes or no? Di means two. Anther is a tetragonal structure which consists of four microsporangia located two in each lobe. Now, anther is a tetragonal structure which consists of four microsporangia located in each lobe. What do you mean by this? Now, tetragonal structure means this. Okay, students, the anther structure, whenever we draw it in this way. It is a tetragonal structure, and there are how many? Four microsporangia. Now, what do you mean by this microsporangia? Microsporangia are nothing but they are known as pollen sacs. Pollen sacs, where inside the pollen grains develop. Inside the pollen grains develop, and this is a tetragonal structure. Why tetragonal structure? Because there are four microsporangia or pollen sacs. Microsporangia or pollen sacs. Now students, whenever I say such words, androecium, gynoecium, microsporangia, megasporangia, you need to remember what exactly it is. Okay, the word can come anywhere. The microsporangia. Now what do you mean by this? Microsporangia means it is pollen sac. It is pollen sac. Understanding? It is a pollen sac. So what happens here? It is a tetragonal structure, right? Yes or no? There are four here. There are four lobes. It is a tetragonal structure. There are four lobes. It is a tetragonal structure. We draw it in this way only. The microsporangia is drawn in this way only. That is, we form it four lobes. It consists of four microsporangia located two in each lobe. Now, what do you mean by that? Located two in each lobe. Now, this is a two lobe. This is a division where two lobes are here and two lobes in this, two microsporangia in one lobe and other microsporangia in the other lobe. Understood? This is lobe 1, this is lobe 2. Two microsporangia in one lobe, it will come, two microsporangia in the other lobe. So it is, this point says that two microsporangia is in one lobe, this side, and the other two microsporangia this side. So here 2, here 2, in this two lobe. Okay. Microsporangium develops into pollen sacs. Microsporangium develop into pollen sacs. Pollen sacs means those four pollen sacs which are present in the tetragonal structure and which helps in the development of the pollen grains. Which helps in the development of the pollen grains. Pollen sacs run longitudinally and contain pollen grains. Yes, pollen sacs run longitudinally in this section, this side, they run longitudinally and contain pollen grains. They contain pollen grains inside it. Okay, they contain pollen grains inside it. And this tetragonal structure. Now, what is the structure of the anther here? The structure of the anther is bilobed. Anther is bilobed. Each lobe consists of two theca. Two theca means covering. Hence, it is known as dithecous. Because it contains two covering, it is known as dithecous. Anther is a tetragonal structure. It is a tetragonal structure. Consists of how many microsporangia? Four microsporangia and two in one lobe and two in other lobe. Microsporangium develops into pollen sacs where the pollen grains develop. Where the pollen grains develop. So this is a structure of the microsporangium. That is the male reproductive part. The male reproductive part of the flower. Once when I was explaining yesterday, I had told you the anther is two lobed. The anther is two lobed. And once you take the transverse section of it, once you take the transverse section of it, you get this tetragonal structure. You get this tetragonal structure, and this tetragonal structure is known as microsporangia. Microsporangium. This tetragonal structure is known as microsporangium. Now, the structure of the microsporangium along with the diagram is an important question. This diagram is important, students, where this tetragonal structure, where you need to explain about the walls of the microsporangium and the tissues. The walls of the microsporangium and the tissues. It is in one of the important questions that may ask for 4 or 5 marks. The diagram is important. The diagram of the microsporangium is important. Now, when I say the diagram of the microsporangium is important, you need to thoroughly understand and practice this diagram so that you can easily give the explanation. Now, when the diagram or the explain the structure of microsporangium is asked, when it has been asked for you, explain the structure of microsporangium, you need to give this particular diagram. Now, when you take the transverse section of this anther, you see something like this, a tetragonal structure. You see something like this, a tetragonal structure. Now this tetragonal structure have got 4 microsporangia. It has got how many? 4 microsporangia. Now what are the function of these all? Okay. So a typical microsporangium appears circular in outline, somewhat circular in outline it appears. Okay. Though it is a tetragonal structure, it appears circular in outline. Clear, students? It appears circular in outline. Now, there are 4 walls. This is important. There are how many walls? 4 walls. Now, you will ask me, ma'am, whether this diagram is important or this diagram is important. Now, students, if you see your book, so you will get a picture like this. Yes, so you'll get a diagram or a image like this. Now, what you have to do here, you do not have to just give the outline. You can draw the cells, everything properly inside this one diagram only. You can draw everything in this one diagram only and label the parts neatly. This is an important diagram for your exam point of view. Important diagram. It's an important diagram for your exam point of view. If you draw all the cells neatly here and then label the parts, you do not have to draw these 2 diagrams. You can just give this one entire diagram. Is it clear? You can give this one entire diagram. Now coming to the walls of it. Now what are the different walls of the microsporangium? Now what are the different walls of the microsporangium? The outer layer which protects the microsporangium or the outer thin layer is known as epidermis. The outer thin layer is known as epidermis. Epi means outer. Dermis means skin. Yes or no? Or the layer. Layer or the skin. Layer or the skin. So, epi means outer. Dermis means skin or the layer. The outer layer which is present in the microsporangia, that outer layer known as epidermis. The outer layer is known as epidermis and it is a thin layer. The outer epidermal layer is a thin layer. The first wall is finished now. The first outer wall is epidermis. It is an outer thin layer which protects the microsporangium. Which protects the microsporangium. Now coming to the next one, which is that endothelium. Now coming to the next layer, which is that endothelium. Endo means inside. Yes or no? Endo means inside. The inside layer, the inside covering which we have just below the epidermis is known as endothelium layer or endothelium cells. Okay, so the outer layer is the epidermal layer. The below the epidermal layer which is present is the endothelium layer. The endothelium which is present, the cells in this way only, students. It will be like this. It will be like this. Cells. Okay. So this is a endothelium layer. Above that it will be a epidermal layer. Above that it will be an epidermal layer. This is a epidermal layer. Yes, and below this is a endothelium layer. Okay. Endo means inside. Thelium means layer. Okay. After that, there are some group of cells which you find. Okay. Just below the endothelium, you find one group of cells and those group of cells are known as middle layer. What it is known as? Middle layer. The group of cells which you find just below the endothelium is known as middle layer. It is a group of cells which will be present like one, see, you can see, right? One cell, one set of cell, other set of cells. That group of cell is known as the middle layer. After the middle layer, what it does? The middle layer helps in the uh, protects protects the pollen grains, that is the developing pollen grains, and helps in the dehiscence of the anther. It protects the developing pollen grain and also helps in the dehiscence of the anther. Now, what do you mean by the dehiscence? Dehiscence is nothing but the opening of the anther. Opening of the anther. Now, students, you will ask me, ma'am, why do you say that? Why it is opening? Why do you say dehiscence? Dehiscence is nothing but, students, when the pollen grains become mature, when the pollen grains become mature, they will break this layer and they will come out. They will break all this layer and they will come out. For example, now the fruits, yes or no? The fruits, when they are young, they they be there in the tree itself. But once they ripen, once they properly ripen, they fall off from the trees. Yes or no? They fall off from the trees. And why do they happen so? Because now they are already ripened. They have become matured. So what happens? They fall off from the trees. Yes. The similar way here also, what happens? The pollen grains, once they become mature, they break the wall, they break these layers and they come off. Okay, they come out like this. There is a breaking of the layer taking place and the pollen grains come out. That opening is known as dehiscence. You need to use the word dehiscence. Dehiscence is nothing but, please note down and take, students, everything whatever I am explaining. Please make sure that you note down and take and write the meaning as well, so it becomes easy for you to understand. Clear? Dehiscence is nothing but the opening of the anther which takes place from where the pollen grains come out. So middle layer protects and help in the dehiscence of the anther along with the epidermis and the endothelium. It protects and helps in the dehiscence of the anther. All these three layers helps protection and helps in the dehiscence. Okay, all these three layers protects and also helps in the dehiscence, that is the opening. So until now, how many layers we have studied? We have studied 4 layers, and this is the structure of microsporangium, students. Now where is this microsporangium present? This microsporangium present in the anther. Anther and filament is together called a stamen. When you take this anther and take a transverse section of it, you find this tetragonal structure. When you magnify the tetragonal structure, you see a structure like this inside it. Okay, think that we are studying it through the microscope. Okay, so what we do, we see this tetragonal structure in the magnified way. When we see this in when we see this in a magnified structure, we see a tetragonal structure like this. And when we again magnify it, we see all the cells. So how many walls are there here? How many cells are present? Epidermis is present, endothelium is present, middle layer. Until now, we have studied these 3 layers. Until now, we have studied these 3 layers. Epidermis, endothelium, and middle layer. And what is the function of it? The function of these 3 layers is protects and helping dehiscence of the anther. Protects and helps in the dehiscence of the anther, that is the opening of the anther. Next, coming to one more layer you can see here, that is known as tapetum. That is the inner layer. Below the middle layer you will see it, and that layer is known as tapetum. That layer is known as tapetum. Now what is this tapetum is? Now what is this tapetum here? The tapetum layer, remember the word tapetum layer, it nourishes the developing pollen grain. Remember this. It nourishes the developing pollen grain. What it does? It nourishes the developing pollen grain. Tapetum cells have dense cytoplasm and they are multinucleated. Tapetum cells have dense cytoplasm and they are multinucleated. Plus, it helps in the nourishment of the developing pollen grain. It provides nourishment to the developing pollen grain. Very good. So, tapetum is an important question, student. It is asked again and again. The function of the tapetum is asked again and again, and it is very important. Plus, this entire question itself is important, was structure of microsporangium, whereas tapetum has been asked again and again. Clear? What is tapetum, or write the function of the tapetum? What is the tapetum? Tapetum is the provides the nourishment to the developing pollen grains. The pollen grains which are nourishing inside this, no, this circle, yes or no? Inside the pollen grains here, sorry, inside the microsporangia, the uh, pollen grains which have been nourished, that is nourished by the tapetum. Now, for example, students, how the baby inside the mother's womb is nourished through placenta, yes or no? Through the placenta, the blood, the oxygen, the food, the minerals, whatever required for the baby is transferred to the placenta. Yes or no? This is a mother's womb. This is a mother's womb where the baby is growing. The placenta which is present, which divides the womb and the mother's body. This is the mother's body. This is, I'm talking about the human students. This is the mother's body, and this is the womb where the nutrition, oxygen, blood, everything comes from the mother's body through this placenta. Okay, through this placenta. So, similar way, the nourishment here for the developing pollen grains is given by tapetum. The nourishment here for required for the pollen grains is given by tapetum, and this is important. Clear? Mark and take. It is important. So until now we have studied the structure of the microsporangium, and it is somewhat circular in structure. It has got four walls: epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, and tapetum. Epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, and tapetum. What are the function of these three layers? That will be asked for you, and you have to explain it also. What are the function of these three layers? It protects and helps in the dehiscence of the anther. That is the opening of the anther. Whereas tapetum nourishes the developing pollen grain. It nourishes the developing pollen grain, and tapetum cells have dense cytoplasm. What it has? It has got dense cytoplasm, and it is multinucleated. It is multinucleated.